Hey, what's up, homies? It's Waldo, and today we're here for the start of my MLB The Show 16 franchise series. Probably should have started this a little sooner. It is June 23rd at this point, and the game's been out for a couple months now, but better late than never, I suppose, especially with saves that can carry over from year to year. I guess it doesn't really matter when we start this because we can always continue this next year if we really wanted to, but as you can see, I did choose the Tampa Bay Rays for this series. There are a couple reasons for that. Now, I do want to mention that you guys, as I mentioned before, you guys gave me a lot of good suggestions in that OOTP video where I asked, what team do you want to see me use in this series? So thank you very much for that. You guys definitely gave me a lot of options to consider. If you're wondering why I didn't choose the team you suggested, just leave a comment down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about why I chose the Rays over the team you suggested, but I chose the Rays simply because it's something I've never really done before. A lot of times I'll choose the Phillies, or with my OOTP series, I just chose the Angels. A lot of times I find myself choosing a lot of these big market teams that have a ton of money at their disposal. With the Rays, it's not like that. They really don't have a lot of money at their disposal. They can't really just throw endless amounts of money at free agents like some of these teams can. So you really have to do well with scouting in this game. You really have to find hidden gems in the free agent market. You really have to develop your players well, and you really have to know when to trade some of them, because obviously some of the guys, they're going to want really big contracts, and sometimes you just won't be able to afford those contracts. So you also have to know maybe when to trade some of these guys that are doing really, really well in order to get a good return for them. So I thought that the Rays would be an interesting opportunity. I'm not sure how many people really do Tampa Bay series on YouTube. I did not check before I started this, but I thought it would just be pretty interesting to see if I can build this team up, because obviously I couldn't win a World Series with the Angels in 10 years. Now, I don't know how long this series will go, but obviously the goal is still to win the World Series, although this year one of my goals is to finish over 500, so the goal isn't quite to win the World Series this year, but definitely reaching the postseason and winning the World Series is high on my list of priorities. As I tend to do in the first episode of any series I do, this one will just be a roster overview, just to see what we are working with here. So we will start with the lineups, and we'll just go down the order. We'll go through the bench. We'll take a look at the pitchers. We'll take a look at our bullpen, and then we'll take a look at some of the guys in the minor leagues who I'm looking forward to coming up at some point over the course of this series. But we'll start with the lineups, and we'll start with Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder, 25 years old. He's a defensive stud, as you can see, 99 fielding rating, 99 arm strength, 88 arm accuracy, 88 reaction. He has great speed, 92, so obviously, along with being able to, contribute on the base paths, Kiermaier also has excellent range out there in center field. He's why he's one of the best defensive players in the game. He is solid against righties. He's okay against lefties. Obviously, he could use a little work. See 55 contact versus lefties. He is a left-handed batter, so it is understandable. Last year, he slashed 263, 298, 420. He did hit 10 home runs, had 18 stolen bases, so maybe you're looking at a guy that can hit 10 to 15 home runs, maybe steal 20 to 25 bases if you're lucky. So I'm definitely looking forward to using this guy. He's one of my favorite players in the league. If I was just building a team and I could have any of the players in the league, Kiermaier would definitely be high on my list of guys that I would want. He's only 25 years old, really, really good in the field, has some speed to him. He's not going to hit you a ton of home runs, but he'll give you a solid average more often than not. So really excited to be using Kevin Kiermaier, one of my favorite players in the league. Moving down to the number 2 spot, Desmond Jennings, the 29-year-old left fielder. It's crazy to think that he's 29 at this point. He's really the opposite of Kiermaier at the plate in that he's good versus lefties, but he's only okay versus righties. See that 52 contact versus righties. He does have some power to his game, not a ton, but his vision is solid, which is always good. He hasn't really had that breakout season yet that many thought he would a few years back. Like a lot of people thought 2013 he would really break out, and he didn't really do that. He only hit 252 with 14 home runs. Next year he only had 244 with 10 home runs, and last year he only appeared in 28 games, unfortunately. He did hit 268, which was his highest batting average ever in the majors, albeit in only 28 games. A very small sample size, only 97 at-bats with a homer, 7 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases. You do see, though, he won't kill you in the field if we look at his rings. A 64 fielding, but he does have 85 arm strength, so he does play really well at a corner outfield spot. He does have some speed to him. 80 speed. You see in 2011 he stole 20 bases. 2012 he stole 31. 2013 he stole 20, 2014 he stole 15. So you're looking at a guy that ideally he'll give you a 260 to 270 average if everything goes right. He could also, steal 20 bases as we've seen, 25, maybe 30 if, we're really lucky. But once again, this guy, you can even see his hot zones up there. He's really good against lefties, but righties, he does tend to struggle a bit at times. So hopefully he can start against both lefties and righties, but if he's really struggling against righties this year, maybe we'll think about platooning him with somebody. I'm not too sure, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. Moving to the third spot, Corey Dickerson, the guy the Rays got from Colorado in the offseason, our right fielder, only 26 years old. Great against Rays, could definitely use some work against the lefties. That's why at the moment he is in a platoon situation, and we'll get into that a little later. He definitely has power, 20, 25, maybe a 30 home run guy. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, he played half his games in Coors Field, so those home run numbers will be a little inflated. I don't think they are. You see in 131 games, he had 24 home runs in 2014. Then last year, injuries derailed him. He was only able to appear in 65 games. He still had 10 home runs and had an average over 300. Look at his OBP in 2014, it was a 364. Last year, it was at a 333 clip. I definitely don't, his stats obviously will regress just a little bit because he's not playing at Coors Field, but I don't think they're going to be as drastic as some people think they will be. I know in real life he's really having a rough season. I think he's just trying to do too much at the plate personally, but I think in this game he could definitely be a stud for us. He's only, as I mentioned, 26 years old, beat potential, 76 overall. I definitely think he could be a mainstay on this team for years to come. Moving to the cleanup spot, our mainstay on this team, Evan Longoria, the 30-year-old third baseman. Best hitter in our lineup, no doubt about it. He's nice in the field as well with his 88 fielding, 73 arm strength, 76 arm accuracy, and 72 reaction. Of course, you need reaction over there at the hot corner. He's as durable as they come. He's played in at least 160 games the past 3 years. As you can see, he played in every single game in 2014. 25 to 30 homers easily, as you can see. In 2010, he had 22 dingers, 2011, 31, 2012, 17, but you have to remember he only played in 74 games that year. And in the past 3 years, his home run numbers have gone down. You see they went from 32 to 22 to 21, but I still think he could definitely be a 25 to 30 home run guy for us for at least another couple of years. And I hope he is, because you see we have him through 2022, that contract. It is backloaded, so it's just going to keep going up. You see, this year we're paying him $14.6 million, but you see by year 4 we'll be paying him $16.9, and then by year 7, $19.5. And by that point he'll be 37 years old, so hopefully, obviously at that point he'll probably be, we'll be overpaying him, obviously, but that's the case with a lot of these backloaded contracts. You pay for what they do now, not what they do in the future, especially when they reach 37 years old. So hopefully that contract won't bite us in the ass as time goes on. Moving to the 5 spot in the order, Logan Forsythe, our second baseman, 29 years old. Really great utility guy, can play almost anywhere. Obviously second base, but also first base, third base, shortstop, and any of the 2 corner outfield spots. He's not too bad with the stick, a 66 rating, contact versus Rays, 73 versus lefties, and he does have some power to his game. He's solid in the field too, as you can see by his fielding ratings. He's durable with a 94 rating. This is his 3rd year with Tampa Bay after 3 years with San Diego. You see, his first year with Tampa Bay did not go as well as he would have liked, probably. He only had a 223 average, hit 6 home runs. But last year in 153 games, the most he's ever played in the major leagues, 540 at-bats, he managed to have 17 home runs, hit 281, get on base at a 359 clip. He OPS just over 800. With 9 stolen bases, so this is definitely a guy that's nice to have in your lineup. We only have him for 2 years, so if he does prove to be useful, maybe we'll sign him back, because he does play a ton of positions, so it's always good to have a guy who can play anywhere on the field. Definitely helps out your team a ton. But we'll see what happens. He is an A5 overall, B potential, not that that matters too much. He is 29 years old. But moving down to the 6th spot in the lineup, Steve Pearce. The DH for us, he will be 32 years old. He can also play first base, second base, and left field and right field. We signed him in the offseason from Baltimore, as you see. His first year with Baltimore, after he got called up, or not called up, traded, because you see he was traded at one point, because he was with Pittsburgh, then he went to Baltimore, now he's with us. In 44 games with Baltimore in 2013, he hit 261, which isn't too bad. Got on base at a 362 clip. 2013, I already mentioned 2013. 2014, he really broke out. He only played in 102 games. Keep in mind, he had 338 at-bats, but he hit close to 300 at 293. He had 21 dingers, 49 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, got on base at a 373 clip. OPS at 930, which is incredible. Last year, he definitely fell off a little bit. Granted, he only played in 92 games, but it's only 10 less than he played in 2014. Had 294 at-bats, had 15 homers, 40 RBIs, only had 1 stolen base, hit just 218, had an on-base percentage under 300, OPS at just over 700, so definitely a disappointment. So we have this guy for just this year. You see 4.7 mil. Of course, next year is his arbitration year, so we could bring him back if we really wanted to, but it definitely depends. Is he the guy that he performed like in 2013, 2014, or is he more the guy that looked terrible last year? It really depends. If he does well this year, obviously we'll bring him back. He's always a nice guy to have. He can play several positions. But if he doesn't do well, I would have no problem letting him go because we can always find better guys than him. If not in the minors, then definitely in the free agent market. Moving down to the 7th spot, Logan Morrison, Mr. Cup of Lomo. He will be our first baseman, 28 years old. He can also play corner outfield, as you see. We signed him away from Seattle. He had spent 4 years with Miami. Prior to that, he had a bit of a renaissance here at Seattle. His low average, obviously, is it's not too good, a 225 average. You'd like that to be a little higher, but he had 17 home runs. That was his highest home run total since 2011. Ideally, we'd like this guy to hit somewhere between 240 and 250. Obviously, 250 would be nice, but looking at his batting average over the past several years, I think 240 would be definitely a good goal for him to reach. 15 to 20 home runs, that would definitely help out the team. We also have this guy for just 1 year. He does not have arbitration next year, so he will be a free agent, so this is a contract year for him. Hopefully he performs well to make us consider keeping him, because if not, as with Pierce, I would have no problem just letting this guy go. Moving to the A spot, catcher Hank Conger. This is the one position that not the one position, but one of the positions I would love to improve at. Conger is definitely not the future, that's for sure. He's only 28 years old, but we definitely need to upgrade. He can't do much at the plate or behind the plate, as you can tell by his ratings. We signed him away from Houston. He played 5 years with the Angels prior to that. This is definitely a position that we need to upgrade at. Catcher, we do really not have anyone at the major league level right now that can contribute. In fact, Conger, at some point, I'll get into this later, he might lose his starting job at some point because there's a catcher I prefer to him on this roster right now. But we'll get to that a little bit. And rounding out the order, batting 9th will be Brad Miller, the shortstop. He's only 26 years old, which feels weird to say. It feels like he's been around for quite a while, at least to me. He's pretty average versus righties, not so much against lefties. Can also play shortstop, left field, center field, right field, and second base. He does have some speed to his game. You see that 70 speed rating. He did steal 13 bases last year with Seattle, so another guy that we got from Seattle. He had solid years in 2013 and 2015, but a down year in 2014, which he only had 221 with 10 home runs and 123 games played, 367 at bats. So the question, as you know, we have for a couple other of these guys, which year better represents him? Is it 2013, 2015, or is it 2014? The good thing, though, is that he does have 3 arbitration-eligible years after this, so we do have team control of him for quite a while. So if nothing else, as with Forsythe, Miller can be just an excellent depth guy, utility guy, can play almost anywhere on the field, and those guys are always good to have. Moving to the bench, Tim Beckham, a middle infielder, 26 years old. He was actually the first overall selection in the 2008 MLB draft, which some people, I think, tend to forget. Last year was his first chance to really showcase what he can do at the big league level, and suffice it to say, it wasn't all that much. You see, in 82 games, 203 at-bats, he only hit 222, got on base at a 274 clip, OPS at just over 700, which is not too good. He did have 9 home runs and 37 RBIs, though, so maybe that's a sign of things to come. Looking at his ratings, he does have some power to his game. His contacts, it's there as well, but, obviously we'd like to see him improve because these stats are not, a good, what you'd like to see from a starter. He won't kill you in the field, which is always good. Guys on the bench, I'd like to have guys that you can count on in the field. That way, when you put them in, you don't have to worry about them, botching everything up out there for your pitchers and prolonging the game, making errors and stuff like that. So at least he's good in the field, and he does have some speed to his game as well. You see that 66 speed rating. But, hopefully everything works out with Beckham. Who knows? And now here's the catcher I'm talking about, Kurt Casale, 27-year-old. He is maybe taking over the starting job at some point. I like his fielding ratings a lot more than Conger's. I know his contact is a little lower, but he does have some power to his game, which is always good. So if nothing else, maybe he's a guy that hits 200, 210, but with 10, 15 home runs, maybe, if you're lucky. he is better behind the plate than Conger, as I mentioned, at least according to the ratings. So who knows? Maybe at some point if Conger struggles to begin the year, you see he is in a starting job right now. We'll put Casali in. Moving now to Steven Souza Jr., the guy that the Rays got from Washington, at 26 years old. He's another power guy mainly. You see he has no contact whatsoever to talk about, but his power rating, 73 versus Rays, 80 versus lefties. That is definitely something that we can work with. If nothing else, maybe just a good bench bat. Put him in there in a situation where we could use, some gap power. We'll definitely start this guy at some point, though, because we'd like to see him maybe develop. He has beat potential. He's only 26 years old, so he definitely can develop a little more. But that 17 vision, that's not something I like out of players on my team. I like them to have high visions. When you have a vision at 17, you're really not helping me out. He is solid in the field, though. He does have some speed to his game. They're actually not too bad. You look at how he did in his first full year in the majors last year. 110 games played, 373 at-bats. He had 16 home runs, but his average was only 225. He got on base at over 300 clip, though, which, based on his game, that's not too bad. So, if nothing else, he's solid depth. And then looking at the contract situation, next year it's a renewable contract and then 3 arbitration years. So he'll probably be around for a while. And then rounding out the batters on the roster right now, Brandon Geyer, 30 years old, left field, but can also play center and right. Nicknamed La Piñata because he has a knack for getting hit by pitches, believe it or not. He'll give you a solid batting average, as you can tell by his contact ratings. Not too much power, however. 75 speed, so he won't kill you on the base pass. In the past few years, looking at the stats, he's actually been a solid contributor, all things considered. So definitely a nice guy to have on the team. 2 more years of arbitration after this, so a nice cheap guy to keep on the team, which is good because we definitely need some cheap guys on this team, seeing as we don't have a ton of money to spend. And that is that for the offensive portion. Moving on to pitching, Chris Archer, 27 years old, a true ace. He's improved each year. He has 4 pitches, a slider, a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer, and a changeup. Definitely happy to have this guy on my team. It's always good to have an ace to start on one of these series. Moving now to Jake Odorizzi, the 26-year-old. If he lives up to his potential, he definitely can be a solid number 2 starter for us. Good ratings. This is actually the guy they got in that Will Myers trade. So that was the trade where Tampa Bay got Will Myers, Jake Odorizzi, and 2 other guys. And Kansas City got James Shields and Wade Davis. So I guess at this point, it's safe to say that Kansas City won that trade. Odorizzi has 5 pitches, a 4-seamer, a splitter, a 2-seamer, a cut, and a slider. So definitely happy to have him in my number 2 slot at this point. Drew Smiley, 26 years old. So this rotation is definitely very young. A great number 3 option. Number 2 upside of his development continues. He has B potential. Oh, excuse me. This was another guy that the Rays got in a trade. It was that 3-team trade where Tampa Bay got Smiley, Willie Adams from Detroit, and Nick Franklin from Seattle. Seattle got Austin Jackson from Detroit, and Detroit obviously got David Price from the Tampa Bay Rays. Smiley has 4 pitches, a 4-seamer, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. Very nice 1-2-3. I think it's very underrated, especially if these guys continue to develop the way I think they will. It's definitely a very underrated, 1-2-3 in the rotation. And even our 4th start, I'm very high on. I've been high on him for a very long time. Matt Moore, 26 years old as well. So 3 26-year-olds in the rotation at this point, and then a 27-year-old in Archer. Injuries have really derailed him the past few years, but he does have high upside if he can stay healthy. That's the big question mark with him. If he can stay healthy, you're looking at one of, a potentially very good pitcher in this league, maybe a number 3, possibly a number 2, who knows. He does have 4 pitches, a 4-seamer, a curveball, circle, and a 2-seamer. Hopefully he does stay healthy because I would love to be able to pitch with this guy for years to come. He's only 26. And looking at his contract, we have him on a steal of a contract, especially if he develops into one of the better pitchers in the league. $2.8 million a year for 5 years. That is incredible. And then our number 5 pitcher is Matt Andriese, a 26-year-old right-hander. His spot in the rotation is tentative, and the only reason I say that is because we have several replacements in the bullpen in Ramirez, Romero, and Colomé, if need be. And we also have a couple guys in the minors that I am looking forward to pitching with. But as for right now, Andriese, he's a solid number 5 star. If nothing else, he's great depth for us. He has 5 pitches, a 4-seamer, a cutter, a curveball, a 2-seam fastball, and a slider. He did all right last year. I think he appeared in, 25 games, started 8 of them, if I remember correctly. He's got a renewable contract over the next 2 years and then 3 arbitration years. So, as I mentioned, if nothing else, really good, cheap depth for this team. You could definitely do worse than the number 5 spot coming from a Phillies fan. The guys that we had in that rotation at some points last year. Oh boy, yeah. Definitely would have loved to have Andriese last year. It would have been better than some of the guys we trotted out there last year. Moving to the bullpen, I'm not going to go through each guy in depth, but overall, it's not too bad, but it could be better. I feel like, a lot of people could say that for their bullpen, though. I'm happy to have Boxberger, Cedeno, and Colomb. They're a nice core for right now. Obviously, I'd like to build this bullpen up to be one of the better ones in the league, but for right now, that's a nice core to have. Jeltz has some potential if his control improves. You go over to Jeltz, you see a 46 rank for walks per 9 innings, and control, it's only at a 50. So we definitely want to see that improve. He does have 3 pitches, a 4-seamer, a slider, and a splitter, 99 breaks, 68 velocity, 94 hits per 9 innings, and 78 Ks per 9 innings. But if his control improves, this is definitely a guy that could be a mainstay in the bullpen. And then we also have Johnny Venters, Ryan Webb, and Danny Farquhar in the minor league. So if one or more of these guys, they don't meet the grade, we can definitely send them down to AAA, call up one of those guys, and get some bullpen help, which is nice. It's always good to have some bullpen depth down in the minor leagues, if we need it. Moving on to prospects now. I'm not going to, go through every single one. I'm just going to, just scroll down here. If you see one you want me to talk about at a later date, just let me know. But there are several that I'm looking forward to using. Blake Snell. This is one of the main reasons why I chose the Rays. I love this kid. He is actually on my fantasy team. A potential 71 overall, 23 years old. He's not only the top Rays prospect, but he's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. I think MLB.com had him at number 12 overall, which is incredible. He definitely will be up at some point this year, maybe some point after the Super 2 deadline, because I keep mentioning it, the money, the more control we have over these players, that we can have over these players, the better. There's no reason to call this guy up right now. It's better just to get that extra year of service time. That way we can save the money on him and have him for longer. He does need to improve his control. You see his control is only at a 53 and his walks per 9 is only at a 44. But if he improved that, this kid could definitely be a stud. I don't know how long Archer will be here, but Snell could definitely slot into that ace spot if Archer is somehow not here at some point in the future. Other guys I'm looking forward to working with: Brent Honeywell, a 21-year-old starting pitcher, a 60 grade fastball, 65 grade screwball, a 45 grade curveball, 55 grade changeup, 55 overall. He does have number 2 or number 3 upside. He probably will be up at some point next year. And here is Brent Honeywell. You can take a look at his ranks. He probably will be up at some point next year. But if he really earns it, maybe he'll get a call up in September when the rosters expand. I'm not too sure, but I doubt he'll be up before September. I just can't see it. There's just a lot of stuff in his game that he has to work on. So I really doubt he'll be up, in July or August. More likely September, but definitely next year. Another guy I'm looking forward to working with is Willie Adams. I believe he is in a Double-A. Yes, he is. A B potential guy. This was the guy that they got in the David Price trade. 20 years old. A shortstop. He won't be up for a while. His ETA is probably 2018, maybe the September 2017, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's fine. He has a solid hit tool, a nice arm, 55 grade overall. We just need these ratings to improve, but he could definitely be a solid middle infielder for us if he develops like I think he will. He's only 59 overall right now, but as I mentioned, he's only 20. So he will improve. At least I hope he improves. Another guy I'm looking forward to working with is Garrett Whitley. He is an A-ball right now. Oh, not Chase Whitley, Garrett Whitley. There we go. An outfielder, center fielder, but he can also play left and right. He's an A-ball. He's only 19 years old, so he's a while away from the major leagues, but I'm definitely looking forward to working with him. David Robertson, or I think is it David Robertson? I forget. Is it David or Daniel? Daniel Robertson, excuse me. He is a shortstop by trade, but can also play second and third. He's in AAA. He's one of the Rays' top prospects, so I think he's number 7, if I remember correctly. It's either 6 or 7, maybe 8. So I'm looking forward to working with him. You see a solid hit tool, nice in the field. He has some speed. He's not the fastest guy, though, so it's obviously not the biggest part of his game. But it'll be nice. He could definitely be up, if not September this year, then some point next year. We could always use infielders, definitely, for sure. And another guy I'm looking forward to working with is Casey Gillespie. Just a powerful switch-hitting first baseman, one of the top first base prospects in the entire league. I believe he's in the top 10 in that category. He's only 23 years old. Solid hit tool. He could definitely be up at some point, maybe in September if he plays very well this year in AAA, but if not this year, definitely next year. And then there's an injury that I want to talk about. It is Alex Cobb. You see he is down in Single-A right now. He's actually injured in real life. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery. He is 28 years old. B potential. This is a guy I would love to have in the rotation. I'm not sure when he'll be. Well, actually, I know he will be up in August. I don't know if I'm going to wait until August to call him up because you see his morale. He's very unhappy. He expects to be in the rotation right now. He's in the minors, and he is an A-ball. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'd like to leave him down here until August to make this realistic, and I think I will, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. If it gets to a point where, like, something with morale, like, if I have to call him up, then I will do that. But regardless, we can definitely wait on Cobb. I'm definitely looking forward to having him back. He's only 20 years old, one of the better pitchers on the team when he's healthy. So that is that. And then just a quick look at the coaches. Kevin Cash, Derek Shelton is our hitting coach. Jim Hickey is our pitching coach. Ozzie Negrete is our first base coach. Charlie Montoyo is our third base coach. And Herbert Warner as our farm director. I would definitely like to upgrade pitching coach and third base coach at some point. I know Montoyo has history with the Rays organization, but I really am not. I really don't care too much. We really need an upgrade there, and then at some point, getting an upgraded farm director and hitting coach, that would be good as well. But I think that'll just about do it for episode number 1 here, guys. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new here. If for some reason this is the first video of mine you found, it would mean a ton to me if you subscribed. I just saw that we reached over 700 subscribers, which is incredible, so thank you very much for that. We're getting close to 1,000, which is really awesome. I didn't think I'd ever be able to make something out of this, but, you know, getting close to 1,000 subscribers, that's more than I ever thought I could do, so thank you very much for the support. Episode 2 will probably be up some point over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I'm not sure what, but definitely some point over the weekend, so be sure to look out for that. Once again, thanks for watching, homies. Hope you all have a wonderful day.